Hi everyone, welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. This video is sponsored by the One Football app. You know what I'm gonna say. Download it, it's free. Link is in the description, keeping you up to date with all the tournaments which are going on over the summer, including England's last minute defeat against France in the under-21 tonight. Shocking. 3 positions that we all feel that need strengthened over the summer at Newcastle, and also the players to be that. So I'm going to begin with right back. I generally feel that we need that strengthened massively. DeAndre Yedlin's an alright squad player, but going forward as your first choice, not for me. Same as Javier Manquillo. He's only got 1 year left on his deal, and he's not the answer either. So I would like to say right back strengthened. I think a great choice. He's not really featured in Liverpool's plans. He was loaned out the second half of the season, a former England international, Premier League experience, 28-year-old, 1 year left on his deal, is Nathaniel Klein. I think he would be a great buy. I don't think it'll cost much. Realistic signing as well. Will he come up to the northeast, depending on who the manager is, of course. Probably a lot of these signings depend on that, but Nathaniel Klein, for me, experience, I think he'll prove that. Defensive midfield, I think we don't really have an out-and-out. You've got Key, Longstaff and Shelby. Hayden's on his way out. Diarma's left. I think we need a quality defensive midfielder. If the club allow an older player to come in, 32-year-old I'm thinking of, former Chelsea midfielder, now a free agent, is Ramirez, former Brazil international. I think he would do a great job, a specialist maybe for a year or two, alongside Sean Longstaff. Why not? These wages will be high. It's a realistic signing. You wouldn't need a work permit to come back in the UK. He's been here before. Free agent. Why not? Ramirez for me is specialist in that midfield. And then you've got to get Rondon, a striker. You've got to get Solomon Rondon. He fits Newcastle's side so much with Almiron on the left, Perez on the right. Got to get him signed regardless who the manager is. But yeah, I don't think they'll sign if Rafa Benitez isn't. But I also feel you need a second striker as well. I think you've got to look at maybe bringing in a free agent. Yes, I know Welbeck and Sturridge are injury prone, but I would like to say one of those two come up, maybe be your backup, who knows. But if I had to pick one of those two as your backup, I'd probably pick Welbeck, because he can play in several positions and he'll work defensively as well. So that's what I would like to say. Kyle, what about you?
Right back, I think right back's the first one I'd address for sure. I think collectively, Yedlin and Manquillo last season were piss poor. They weren't good enough. The right back I identify straight away as someone like Nathaniel Klein from Liverpool. If you can show ambition and get that deal done, what a signing. I mean, he's such a naturally gifted fullback. Before he went to Liverpool and was put on a bench for Trent Arnold, who is probably one of the best fullbacks in the world right now, he was very highly rated, very highly touted by England as well. Preferably want to go for Loftus-Cheek, Tielemans, someone like that, because that would really sort out the midfield, but we've got to realise the era we're under, which is Mike Ashley. I'd probably go for someone like Checo Chiarte from West Ham. Bit of steel in the midfield, great in the tackle, great work ethic. Be fantastic fit. And he would accommodate Longstaff and he accommodate Shelby and Key very well. So I'll probably go for someone like Checo Chiarte. Rondon is a must. We all know that he needs to sign. Probably one of our better number 9s for a long time. Who would I have to accommodate him? Again, it depends on the takeover. I think it'd be one or two options. For me, personally, it'd be either Josh King or Kemar Roof from Leeds. I think they're both very good players, both very pacey. They offer something very different to Rondon, and I think both of them would easily get you 10-15 goals a season in this team. So then will be the two main players I'll go for alongside Rondon for next season.
Realistic targets, not Football Manager. So first of all, striker up top. It's an easy job. Solomon Rondon, fantastic last season. Works well in Rafa's system. Graphs, creates chances for others, scores goals himself. £16 million, an absolute bargain, and I would literally, whatever it took, get him signed up. Next position I would look at would be Ayoze's, because I do believe he could be off. Replacement for him, Harry Wilson from Liverpool, was on loan last season at Derby. He did really well, scored a dozen goals. We will need to add goals into the team if we are to do okay next season. So Harry Wilson, I would spend every penny we get for Ayoze on him. And to finish it off, Danny Drinkwater. Didn't play much last season under Sarri at Chelsea, but a very good and obviously talented midfielder. Probably available for next to nothing because of his situation. He had a few off the field issues last year, but I would bring him in for his experience and his range of passing.
And right back is most definitely a position that needs to be strengthened, I feel. I think Yedlin, he's had a poor season, and Manquillo, just plain simply, is not Premier League quality. He'd struggle in the Championship as far as I'm concerned. But Nathaniel Klein, I think, is definitely worth a mention to consider for that role. I think he's an upgrade on Yedlin. And also, yeah, there's surely got to be other names in the hat, but of course, this is Newcastle. We never know what's going to happen. That's if we sign anyone. Of course, even if the new owners come in, that would be great, but they're still playing catch-up. But yeah, Nathaniel Klein, I think, would be an upgrade on Yedlin. Right back is definitely a priority to strengthen over the summer transfer window.
For right backs, the name for me that pops up that I've seen a lot is Kenny Lala, who plays for Strasbourg in France. He's had a very impressive season. Strasbourg have won a trophy over in France, which is a league obviously dominated by Paris Saint-Germain. He's put in a lot of impressive performances that have caught the eyes of many across Europe. So I think it would definitely be worth a punt. I think we need an upgrade on both Manquillo and Yedlin, and if you brought this guy in and say sort of Manquillo, to have those two in the squad, I think would make that position quite competitive. Have a lot of money available to spend on it. The guy that I would go for is Ryan Fraser, obviously been very impressive for Bournemouth. But as another option to look at, I think Harry Wilson, who was on loan at Derby last season from Liverpool, is definitely an option worth exploring, potentially as our domestic loan deal. Shown a lot of ability, a good amount of pace, good amount of trickery, fantastic free kicks. I think he deserves his shot in the Premier League, and I think we could give him a good opportunity at right wing. I won't say Rondon because I think we all know that is a player to bring in. For me, two other players that played in the Championship last year. One name is Chet Adams, playing for Birmingham. Birmingham a little bit of financial difficulty. He's been one player linked away. Again, shown a lot of good qualities, good amount of pace, good strength, good finisher. Scored, I believe, 22 goals for Birmingham last season. I think he would be worth coming in as a backup striker for Rondon, an improvement on Gale in my personal opinion. Also younger as well. Tammy Abraham for Aston Villa showed again to be a very good Championship striker. I think in our squad, someone that Rafa was keen on when we first came into the Premier League, could also provide a very good backup option to Rondon, but with Chelsea in a transfer embargo, that one remains to be seen if that will be at all possible.
Starting off with right back, it's a position that needs to be strengthened. The options we've got there are weak. Someone I'd like to see come in, Mario Fernandez from CSKA Moscow. I think he's very good defensively, can play on the wing as well, so that will give us a bit of the versatility is nice to have in a squad like ours where there's not a lot of depth at the moment. Second position, probably centre midfield. I mean, if we look at it, Diarme is gone, Shelby's maybe go, and Isaac Hayden's probably gone already, I'd say. He needs to leave because of family reasons. And yeah, someone I'd like to see come in. I don't really have a name that comes to mind, but if we still have Mike Ashley by the end of the window, then I'd probably say someone who can cover all areas, attacking midfield, defensive midfield, just in case we only do get that one midfielder. And then finally, the position that I'd really like to see, it's not so much depth, but I'd love to see Rondon come back. I know there's talks going on between West Brom and us at the moment, but I'd love to see him come back. And if we were to be taken over, an option I would like to see is Maximilian Gomez from Celta Vigo. He's had a couple of brilliant seasons in the Liga now, and his buyout clause is something like 55 million, but there's talks going on at the moment for 24 million and stuff like that. And he's the same build as Rondon and Uruguayan international. So what more do you really want in a striker? He looks brilliant. So those are my three. Tell us in the comments if you agree with them or not, or put your own down in the comments. So on and so forth. Cheers, guys.